So I had a fun little adventure over the weekend. My daughter's part of a chorus that they get to sing background for the Nutcracker Ballet at the Kennedy Center. It's a very cool thing about living local to the Kennedy Center. And a nice little perimenopause conversation backstage at the Kennedy Center. I really kind of can't, I feel like I can't go anywhere these days without it coming up. And I was like, gosh, how do we even get to that conversation? So a couple of moms, our kids similar ages, and I think I mentioned that I used to work with a PT practice that worked with dancers, and I've got no dance background, so I knew the Nutcracker pretty well from that. But it's a very different view from the orchestra pit and from the music perspective. And so I mentioned that I was a PT, and we got to talking about CrossFit, and one of the other moms was like, yeah, I just started having leakage with double unders. I'm like, oh, funny, that's also one of my specialties. And then we're also starting to talk about, oh, I have this new like achiness in my tendons. I'm like, yep, perimenopause. So I literally cannot go anywhere anymore without talking about it. It's just these things that come up, and the nice thing is the first thing we always check on is, hey, vaginal estrogen. It's very normal for me to have conversations and say vaginal estrogen. I don't know about everybody else. I don't know if it's just me. But we also talked about, hey, did you know that there are estrogen receptors in all these different parts of your body? And it can be impacted by perimenopause. Again, neither of the women I was talking to knew about that. And, oh, by the way, the leakage that you're having, it probably got worse because of hormones, but, probably those things that didn't get fixed after early postpartum, we can go back and kind of look at that now with double unders, because you probably weren't doing that, when your kids were born. And for these particular women, I think she had maybe in middle school and high school or so. Again, like, women weren't necessarily doing these things. And we also talked about, hey, may have tried CrossFit and lifting heavy, 20 years ago, but aren't doing it now. And what are the benefits for bone health and all that fun stuff? So anyway, point being, some people get to say that they talk perimenopause backstage at the Kennedy Center. I don't know. Maybe just me. I don't know. Are you getting into conversations about hormones with your friends? Or am I the only weird one? I would love to know that. And if you do, tell me how it went. I'd love to hear.